In yet another dramatic day yesterday, caretaker Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli expanded the cabinet for the second time in less than a week, while Chief Minister of Gandaki Province Prithvi Subba Gurung failed to clinch the confidence vote. The development at provinces doesn't augur well for the Prime Minister, who has refused to relent power despite all odds staked against him. Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Caretaker Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli expands his cabinet for the second time since the dissolution of the House of Representatives. Chief Minister of Gandaki Province Prithvi Subba Gurung fails to clinch a confidence vote, scenario at a setback to the Prime Minister at the centre. The Supreme Court issues an interim order staying the Citizenship Ordinance, questions the government intention on the timing of the ordinance. And Team Nepal all geared up to face Australia tonight in the last group match of the World Cup qualifiers. 3 youth players likely to make their debut. Caretaker Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has given a full shape to his cabinet, adding 7 ministers and 1 state minister. Premier Oli has expanded his cabinet for the second time in a week since the dissolution of the lower house, despite widespread criticisms from various quarters. Prime Minister Oli, however, has kept the portfolio of defense with himself. We have more in this report.
Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli reshuffled his cabinet for the 19th occasion on Thursday since he assumed office just over 3 years ago. Premier Oli, who had dissolved the House of Representatives twice, introduced 8 ministers at a time when a writ petition is still under consideration at the Supreme Court challenging his move to dissolve the lower house. Prime Minister Oli appointed his confidant from the party, Khagaraj Adhikari, as Home Minister. Likewise, Premier Oli gave responsibility of Industry Ministry to Raj Kishore Yadav from the Mahanta Thakur-led faction of Janata Samajwadi Party. Minister Yadav had been expressing his dissatisfaction with the party leadership after he was not included in last week's cabinet expansion. With the reshuffle on Thursday, there are 9 ministers and 2 state ministers from the Thakur faction alone. Likewise, Nayankala Thapa has given responsibility of a communication ministry. It may be recalled that newly appointed Minister Thapa is the wife of former Home Minister Ram Bahadur Thapa, who had lost his ministerial portfolio and had also tasted defeat in the by-election of the National Assembly on the same day 3 weeks ago. Meanwhile, senior CPN-UML leader from Mugu district, Mohan Bahadur Bania, has been appointed as minister without portfolio, while Ganesh Pahadi, who had quit the disgruntled faction of the CPN-UML, has been given responsibility of Federal Affairs and General Administration Ministry. Prime Minister Oli has also invited criticism for appointing Narad Muni Rana from Kailali as Forest Minister, since a case against Minister Rana for his alleged involvement in the infamous red passport scam is still pending at the Supreme Court. Likewise, Jwala Kumari Shah of Bara district, who lost her membership from province to assembly after she quit Maoist Centre to join CPN-UML, has bagged Agriculture Minister. Asha Kumari Bika from Bajang has been appointed as State Minister for Forest Ministry.
Chief Minister of Gandaki Province Prithvi Subba Gurung has failed to secure the confidence vote from the Provincial Assembly. Chief Minister Gurung failed to win the confidence vote yesterday after lawmakers from the opposition alliance Nepali Congress, CPN Maoist Centre, Janata Samajwadi Party and Rashtriya Jana Morcha voted against him. Sports Minister Rajiv Gurung abstained from the voting process, while Krishna Thapa of Rashtriya Jana Morcha opted to remain neutral. The Chief Minister termed his failure to win the confidence vote as unfortunate. Chief Minister Gurung, who had resigned from the post to avoid a no-confidence motion registered against him after CPN Maoist Centre withdrew its support from the government, was reappointed to the post as a leader of the largest party. The Chief Minister requires the support of 31 lawmakers to prove a majority. 58 lawmakers were present in yesterday's meeting of the 60-member Provincial Assembly. The opposition alliance has now geared up to form a new government. The opposition alliance has already decided to form a Nepali Congress-led coalition government. However, the alliance still needs one more vote to form the government. Gurung has become the first chief minister from the Oli-led faction to be overthrown. The Supreme Court has issued an interim order in the name of the government staying the Citizenship Ordinance. More in this report.
The Constitutional Bench, including Chief Justice Cholendra Shamsher Rana, stayed the implementation of the ordinance until a final verdict in the case. The order states that the ordinance was issued with the intention of bypassing the parliamentary system immediately after the dissolution of the House of Representatives, even as the citizenship bill could not be endorsed for the past 3 years from a functioning parliament. The Apex Court made it clear that the government cannot bypass constitutional provisions, although it could introduce an ordinance in case of emergency. The Supreme Court pointed out that the practice of introducing ordinance to fulfill political interest on sensitive and issues of long-term impact could go unchecked. The verdict has also rejected the need to issue an ordinance on citizenship at the moment. The bench has also warned of legal complications in future if the parliament would not recognize the distribution of citizenship based on the ordinance. Interestingly, the verdict has turned the understanding of power sharing between CPN-UML and the Mahanta Thakur faction of Janata Samajwadi Party as meaningless.
Nepal witnessed 59 deaths due to coronavirus yesterday, taking the COVID-19 death tally to 8,238. Meanwhile, the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country has crossed 600,000 as 2,874 more individuals tested positive for the virus yesterday. With this, the infection tally has reached 601,687, while the infection rate in the country stands at 29.1%. The total infected includes 61% males and 39% females. According to the Health Ministry, 9,901 tests through the PCR method were carried out. The Kathmandu Valley alone reported 764 new cases. 5,293 individuals registered full recovery, taking the recovery tally to over 5.1 million and the recovery rate to 85.7%. The death rate stands at 1.6%. Based on the latest report by the Health Ministry, 72,178 of the infected are currently in home isolation, 1,261 in intensive care units, and 382 on ventilator support. The inoculation drive against COVID-19 has been halted in the Kathmandu metropolis. The metropolis has informed that the vaccination drive has been halted due to the lack of vaccines. The government had planned to provide the jabs until 12th of June. The Kathmandu metropolis had started vaccinating those between the ages of 60 to 64 in all the 32 wards from Tuesday this week. The vaccination drive had begun in the country from Tuesday with the arrival of 1 million vaccines from China as grant. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents in Panchthar what can be done to foster creativity in children due to the closure of schools amid the ongoing prohibitory order. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ समय दिने वाद्यवादनका साधनहरू घरमा ल्याइदिने खेलकुदका साधनहरू ल्याइदिने हैन अब घर परिवारले चाहिँ अलिकति चाहिँ बच्चाहरूलाई चाहिँ सृजनशील जस्तो घरमा नियमित हुने कामहरुमा चाहिँ अलिकति अब उमेर पुगेको बच्चाहरूलाई चाहिँ काममा चाहिँ सिकाउने बानी व्यवहारहरुमा सुधार ल्याउनु पर्यो आहार विहारमा सुधार ल्याउनु पर्यो अभिभावकले हप्काउने दप्काउने गर्नु भएन र उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ मृदु भाषा बोल्नु पर्यो पढ्न लेख्न सिकाउनु पर्यो आइप्याड देखि लिएर कम्प्युटरहरु छ भने युट्युबद्वारा उनीहरूलाई विभिन्न किसिमको ज्ञानहरु प्रदान गर्न सकिन्छ भौतिक रूपमा चाहिँ उपस्थित भएर गर्न सकिने पढाउन सकिने अथवा सिकाउन नसकिने अवस्था रहेको हुनाले चाहिँ विद्युतीय माध्यमबाट इन्टरनेटको माध्यमबाट सिकाउने शिक्षा नि प्रभावकारी हुन्छ घरमा पानी ल्याउने सामान्य उनीहरूले सक्ने भाँडा माझ्ने अनि ड्राइङ गराउने यस्ता खालका सृजनात्मक कामहरु गराइयो भने उनीहरू पनि काममा चाहिँ एकदम व्यस्त हुन्छन्
And it's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. And here's the question. Why has the construction work of Buri Gandaki Hydel project not begun despite its initiation 39 years ago? Your options are A, lack of investment, B, no willingness, and C, nexus of interest group. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the sports news. Team Nepal take on Australia in the last group match under the World Cup and Asian Cup qualifiers tonight. Speaking on the eve of the match yesterday, Nepal's coach Abdullah Al-Mutairi expressed confidence over the team's performance. Coach Al-Mutairi said that Team Nepal will go into the match to play good football rather than aiming for a win. The coach said that the players have now abandoned the strategy of playing long passes, and that was showing positive results. Al-Mutairi also informed that Team Nepal would play friendly matches against some European and African nations in July next month, and that the team's main target was SAF Championship in September. The coach also hinted at some young players making their debut in the match against Australia tonight. Meanwhile, Australian team's coach Graham Arnold said that they would not take the Himalayan boys lightly by any means. The live telecast of the match at Kantipur television will start from 9:45 p.m. tonight. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.